On this episode of AV Week, this is part 2 of our conversations from InfoComm 2017, integrators, manufacturers, consultants, and more. Give us what they're taking away from Orlando and InfoComm 2017.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
This is AV Week, episode 304, recorded Friday, June 16th, 2017. Live from InfoComm 2017, part 2.
Support for AVNation is brought to you by Christie Digital and by Utelogy.
All right, next segment up, kind of like a cool group here, international again. Mr. Adrian Cantrell from Daily Do. How are you, sir?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. I'm going to ask you about Chinese LED. Next up is Alicia Henley.
Hey, Tim.
How are you, ma'am?
I'm good. I'm enjoying myself. Thanks.
Good. And my buddy, pal, and one of the reasons I even started this silly train, Mr. Kevin Iselli.
How are you, brother?
I'm
Good to
good,
see you.
man. From Crestron. Not
Thank you.
Crestron by any. I totally screwed up John Robinson's AMX by Harman by Samsung by. Yeah, I totally screwed that. But Crestron's just
it happens.
Crestron. It does.
Happens. Yeah.
It does happen. So we'll start with you. But how was your show?
Oh boy. No, it's been very busy, right? As it always is. I mean, they do.
Kevin
such a
got here
great
in
job.
April.
I did. Yeah, we started. Yeah, April 3rd. We
Yes.
started the booth and built out. We were pretty much done on Monday. Yeah. So no, it's been fantastic. The traffic's been just insane. As it always is. Just a great turnout. I've been kind of bouncing back and forth because I had InfoComm classes as well, and but no, it's been amazing. I mean, it's every year when you think it can't get better, it does.
Right. Adrian, this is not your first time, and Kevin, I'll ask you the same thing. This is not your first InfoComm. How, from your perspective, do you think it has been, both from an engagement level, but also numbers are somewhat important. So
Yeah.
Well, we interviewed David Labuscus earlier on today, and he wouldn't give any numbers away. Surprise,
Yeah, he's
surprise.
secretive like that.
Yeah, it's going to be a 4 o'clock announcement.
he gave us something.
Over the tannoy.
He gave us something.
He did,
Double-digit percentage growth.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So it's a number.
But it could be 11.
Yeah, I think.
Very nice. Did you do that on purpose? It goes to 11.
No, just 11% is
Okay.
double digit, as is 10
Right.
or 0.01.
That's not double.
It's still 2 digits.
It's just
So I'll answer your question then.
yes.
Yeah, I think actually, we came in on Tuesday morning because we've had a broadcast booth on the NEC display stand all week. So we came in to set up, and I think my first impression was a very positive one. We quite like Florida as a venue for this, so that's always going to help everybody. But when we walked in and we saw all the executive, also all the InfoComm lounges in the halls, and even Gary Kay's rave pub stuff was good. The press lounge, I think, the thing I said to David Labuscus earlier today was I think everybody stepped it up a gear. Really have. I mean, there's something about it that's a little bit better than the previous few years.
I agree with that,
I
yeah.
can't put my finger on it. I think most of the booths are better. People have thought it through, but it's the whole outside area. I mean, there's so many other things going on, and you think of the Women in InfoComm networking breakfast, which I think was a great initiative that they've continued for a couple of years. That thing that they did with the recognition of the volunteers, the breakfast was superb with the new fellows and things, which is great. The fact that they support us and you doing things like this is great. So yeah, I think the whole thing was stepped up again. It was a very, very pleasant. We've been on the NEC display stand for the whole week. Traffic's been very, very high. Lots of people interested in the Stuart film screen stuff, which we can talk about in a second perhaps. But yeah, it just felt really good. And when we went back to our hotel last night, we're thinking, gosh, we're two-thirds of the way through. And it doesn't feel like we're two-thirds of the way through because it's been so good. We are used to ISC, which is a 4-day show.
yes, sir.
So that also seems a bit weird. But I'm a little bit sad to leave, actually. I mean, we wrapped up filming at 1 o'clock, and
you
it's
don't
like,
have to go home. I mean,
I need to go on. Well, there's no
Come hang
sun. I
out
don't think there's any sun outside, is there?
no.
No. The weather.
Yes, with the Florida thing for us, it's always
The weather's been awful.
Yeah, you have just to remember that it's always an hour muggier here.
Yeah, yeah. But it's the rain. It's like
Yeah.
being in London. I don't mind the mugginess. It's the rain.
Although this week specifically, Sunshine State, I think that's false advertising.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
I'm
we've
certain
seen it
somewhere in the state there's sunshine.
Sure.
I'm certain.
Well, there was in Miami last week, but it still rained there in the morning as well.
Alicia, I wanted to end this part with you because this is your first InfoComm.
Yes, it is.
So give me your impression this week.
I mean, I hit the ground running. Like, I was really, really excited because I went to Tide, which is also something new that's here at InfoComm. And as you know, I like content. I'm really into that portion of it, not just the hardware. So Tide by itself was amazing. I really liked it being across the street, so that way you don't have the same feel as the show floor. So it kind of gave it its own different venue. So Tide was great. Then, of course, show floor started, and it was like running back and forth, and how everything is so separated as far as like the actual show floor. I don't think I was fully prepared for that part of it.
Yeah.
Being able to map out, if I have an appointment here, how long is it going to take me to get to the other end? And on those first 2 days, it's like everybody's booked. Everybody's booked up. They've completely triple booked, and everybody's overlapping in interviews. So I was just trying to get in where I can fit in. And this day, now that I've slowed down, I'm able to walk the show floor a little bit more, see people that are still here, and just take it in piece by piece instead of walking by something and be like, ooh, that's cool, but I can't stop and look at you right now.
Yeah, Friday, the last day of the shows is always very good for doing that. So it's always worthwhile staying you're staying the extra night as well.
Yes, sir.
Right. That's a good hint, I think, for anybody coming to cover the show. Because the executives are less busy, of course.
Yep.
And you'll see, actually, we notice a lot more of the exexecutives walking the floor themselves.
Exactly.
So if you've got a booth, you end up with other people. Sometimes they might be competitors, but
I was going to point out, Kevin, because that's Friday. If you have time, that's when you get to see what everybody else is doing.
Oh, absolutely. Unfortunately, I haven't. No, in fact, Fred and Randy were they just left not too long ago, but they've been in the conference room or on the floor talking with everybody. It's still, there's much to be said about comfortable footwear. Right?
Absolutely.
When you're looking at what's going on out here. I mean, I keep trying to pay attention to you, but there's flashy things
There
going
are
on
flashy
over there.
things right outside of our window. We probably should have done it from over there, but lights do weird things on glass, and they bounce.
They do.
It's
They do.
odd. Alicia, you mentioned Tide, and I wanted to get into this a little bit. This is the first year that InfoComm has done something like this.
Right.
Now, in years past, they've done Technology Tuesday, where they've, here's what's coming down the pipeline, and really, really smart people in AV are going to give you, the forecast for the next 12 to 18 months or 2 years. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. That's the way forecasting does.
Right.
This was completely different. Give somebody who did not attend Tide a kind of a really 30-second, 60-second overview of kind of what it was and how you took it.
How I took it was the show floor is all hardware, software. Tide was all how do we communicate with the people through this hardware and this software. So they focused on the human experience, and that's what captured me from the beginning. Now all of the speakers that were on the show, I would like to see more people who are actually partnered with AV companies and the hardware people. Like there's people that are developing content and are partnered with AV companies, but the people who were on the panels, they know AV but necessarily aren't partnered with anybody, so they have outside companies doing that for them. So it would be interesting to see if those people were actually going to stay for InfoComm. Like everybody who was at Tide and on the show and were speaking, they were just at Tide.
Yeah.
They weren't coming to the show.
That's
because
always
there
the
was no
problem
point.
ISE do their keynotes now. They do a keynote on the first day of the show and one on the Friday.
Yes.
ISE grew to 4 days 2 years ago. So they do a keynote on the Friday to try and keep people. And the trouble is, because we do conferences as well, but the trouble is you want to get a big name, but a big name typically hasn't partnered with the big name. With the big names at the Tide conference, I doubt if they came to the show.
Big names, they weren't
That's the
here
trouble.
because the big names were in animation. The guy who was writing for Pixar and doing Toy Story and Cars, and then you had another lady there who was actually she's into VR, but she creates the content for VR. Her company is still in the early stages of developing the hardware.
It's a shame because I think if you do your research well enough, you can find those people who are partnered. Look, we don't work for NEC Display Solutions, but they hosted us for the last 3 days. We had John 9, and his name is the number 9 from Hollow 9. And he's based in Silicon Beach, so El Segundo, California, and he's right next door to Steven Spielberg and part of the whole film industry. He does this stuff.
And that's exactly, that's
and he's
exactly what I mean.
he's I'm on camera, but he's totally weird. He won't mind me saying he's totally weird. But he's a creative genius.
We are recording.
He's an absolute creative genius.
Prosperity.
And you can find people like that who will stand up and present. They're good presenters as well. And if they're not good presenters, you just need somebody like myself or yourself, who can moderate and keep them on
Exactly.
track and talk them through the bits and pieces and things. So you can find them. I think there's enough. Actually, apart from the Chinese LED, which I'm looking at now, there's some really good content out there in context.
Exactly,
Some really,
but
really good stuff.
I would.
Yeah,
I
but
would
the
like
good
to
news
see
is
them
though you've
involved.
got a growing point now.
Right,
Right.
exactly.
You've got an
It was
attraction.
the
This
first
is
conference.
It was the
time.
first
It was the
conference.
first
It was the
conference.
first
Yeah.
conference. So,
yeah.
I mean,
Real quickly, knowing what you know now that you've attended it, would you attend it again?
yes,
All right. Very good.
yes,
So you'll be going to Vegas next year.
yes.
Woo.
And I'm
First time
working.
in Vegas.
No, not first time in Vegas.
Comfortable shoes.
I went for DSE,
And
And-
water.
Okay.
and
Yes.
so I'm definitely planning on going to be at InfoComm 2018. But
Brilliant.
what I really want to look forward to is ISE. I want to go. To
Okay.
that. So.
It's a fabulous show. All right, real quickly,
It
guys,
is.
as we wrap this up.
Yeah.
Kevin, what are you taking away from this week? And don't say sore feet.
No, actually, no. Comfortable footwear. I don't
Yes,
have that
okay.
problem. I'm seeing a really good interest in growth. Like I said, it seemed like the attendees were up. Traffic was up. Especially now with the launch of our new product, I'm seeing a lot, just an overwhelming interest in the continuing education and knowledge on network deploying of AV and how does that work and how do we do it and how do we manage it, and even more so even from the design aspect. A lot of the consultants that you deal with normally, they're very AV centric. So now that we're pushing this model towards, all right, let's take this AV thing and now put it on the network. It's a great new opportunity for them to learn the skill set. Like, how do you design a network and how do you make that architecture non-blocking?
How do you
and
secure it?
What are all these protocols? And it's gonna be like, in about 5 years, people are gonna be, hey, remember back when HTTP-based T was so easy, right? So no, it's been great. It's been overwhelming response even to just our manufacturers training and the InfoComm training I did. The seats are filled, right? It's been great, and more power to them. I'd love to see them continue with that tradition and keep growing that out.
All right. Alicia, first timer, what are you taking away from this?
What am I taking away from this? That content is important, and it should be a focus, but technology and how we use it all together is also a main focus for the experience. Even on the show floor, if you're showing a piece of hardware, you still are promoting experience.
For
And
sure.
so I really appreciate that part of the show.
All right, Mr. Adrian, last word on this?
Yeah, well, I mean, you mentioned it's on my show, so I pinch all the good ideas from people like yourself, and we had maybe 20, 30 people through our broadcast set, so I picked up a lot of stuff from them, as opposed to me being the expert talking about it, but obviously AV over IP and the whole involvement in IT. Collaboration. We had a Crestron guy, Daniel Jackson, I think, came on the show. The collaboration stuff has moved on fantastically, and there's some great stuff, and you mentioned some cheap software stuff as well, which is great. And then the LED stuff, and the trouble is with the LED stuff, it's both the good and the bad. I mean, good LED is really, really good.
Yeah.
I mean, amazingly good. We use one for our broadcast set background, and we used a Stuart film screen on the top, which changed things. I think it's a game changer for that. But then you look at the other LED, and then they do exactly what you have just said. They'll just play a DVD.
Right.
They'll play a Blu-ray.
Right.
They'll play a piece of color footage from a James Bond movie or a Pixar movie, and there's no context and no relevance. And we still have that. And you look out the window, my favorite thing is it's Blade Runner. I mean, it's completely bonkers, but it's not telling you anything. There's nothing. And I think you look at if the brand police were here, you see them using Coca-Cola stuff, which they shouldn't be allowed to do. There's somebody promoting Oracle's brand. I mean, there's all these brands. They've just taken adverts from all over the place and thrown them on their LED. But LED is amazingly good quality these days. It can be.
It can be.
And then there was a slight thing where Nanolumens issued a couple of patent infringement stuff against actually many of the people in the Chinese quarter on the Monday for infringement of patent, because a lot of these people don't manufacture their own LED. They buy it from China, and of course fighting a patent in China is difficult. And I think it will eventually end up with your president getting involved and banning some of this stuff coming into UK that breaks the patents. You've got a lot of great American technology companies who are inventing things and doing R&D, and not all Chinese companies, but a lot of them are breaking those patents. So my usual bugbear, but it's been a great show. It's been much better than I imagined it would be, and it was really good.
Yeah.
So
Cheers.
very good, very good
Very good.
indeed.
All right, Adrian, how do people find you or Daily Do?
Dailydo.com, so DAILY as in daily, and DOOH.com.
All right, very good. Alicia?
Absolutely. I'm on Twitter and Instagram and everything else at the Smooth Factor.
The smooth.
Yeah.
She
Yes.
is
At
at
the
the
smooth.
smooth.
That is the
Writing
coolest
down.
Twitter handle ever.
Can we change names?
That means she is the
Factor.
coolest person on this panel right now.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
Oh, don't worry,
Well,
that's
that's
not here.
that's easy.
Mr. Iselli, sir.
Crestron Kevin or Crestron K at on Twitter, of course, and then KISL at Crestron.com.
All right, or restaurant.com if they want to find the company you work for.
Yes, that
Good.
too.
All right.
Thank you,
I've heard
Tim.
of them.
Take a small break, and we'll be back in a second. Okay, next segment up, we have a great group of AVNation hosts here. First up, Mr. Matt D. Scott from ResiWeek and also from Mega Audio Video.
Hostess with the mostest.
It is.
Totally.
Totally.
You or me?
You.
Okay.
Steve Greenblatt from Control Concepts, but also hosts our State of Control show. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. And last but not least, Ms. Dawn Mead from AV Social, but also works for Net AV. How are you?
Pretty good, other than my voice.
Oh my goodness, this is going to be a short segment.
No, just I can talk as long as you can hear me. It's just
What?
it's not my usual
was
dulcet
that?
tones.
Huh?
No.
What was that?
Matt,
Yo.
residential dealer.
Yeah,
But you also do House of Worship. And
we do.
So what is your biggest takeaway, or what did you see this year?
Ooh. That's a really good question. This year was an interesting year for me. I did not see the wow factor I was expecting to. There just did not seem to be either some overarching theme or anything that blew me away. There was some very cool technology. There was a lot of really cool products out there. And there was, like, the immersive tech pavilion was fairly fantastic. There were a lot of really good problem-solving devices. But I didn't see that massive leap forward. And I don't necessarily know that anyone expected to see that. I think we were expecting another year of kind of incremental growth and just tweaking, perfecting, making things better. I saw some fantastic, mounting products, which are not enjoyable to talk about on a podcast or highly exciting, but they solve problems.
And that's exciting, though.
Solving problems makes me money. I like making money, so it makes me happy.
Steve, Control Concepts is a independent programming house. What did you see this year as far as Control?
A lot of monitoring software.
Okay.
So everybody's trying to get data out of devices. Everybody's trying to figure out a way that they can be more IT-centric, and that's an old story. But products now have to be accompanied by software. In the past we've had the year of the app.
Yeah.
This year seems to be the year of monitoring software, and whether it's offering a platform that's independent or that supports their product line.
Yeah. Dawn, what was your biggest takeaway from this week?
Well, everybody that's ever watched this show knows that I love to visit the little booths and the new companies that are here. And I have to say, this, I think, was the year that the Innovations Pavilion finally came into its own. In years past, there would be one or two really cool products in the Innovation Pavilion, and then a lot of things sometimes that were a little iffy in their relevance to the AV world. I personally liked it last year, but it wasn't the most AV-centric product, the little chat light for doing selfies and things, that sort of thing, less AV-centric. This year, the Innovation Pavilion, every single product in there was a fantastic AV-centric, pro AV, commercial AV, whatever product, whether it's software, helping people do their drawings and helping people schedule their installers, whether it was actual products on the video end and on the audio end. It was this year a fully fledged Innovation Pavilion, and the ones that won and some of the ones that didn't win were amazing products. I was able to periscope both the awards ceremony and an interview with the ones that won the $10,000 and the booth next year. And their product you have to see to believe, because it's a ridiculous audio product that every person that they describe it to doesn't believe it's a thing. And then when they go and see the demo, they're like, that's a thing and that's awesome. And that's why they won the $10,000. But I think that was the year that the Innovation Pavilion really came into its own. So props to Richard Blackwell and InfoComm for providing that incubator atmosphere for the smaller companies, giving them the opportunity not just to win money and a booth next year, but giving them a platform if they can't afford a booth anyway to begin with, or they're true startups, and giving them the ability to connect with 30 to 40,000 professionals and get the ideas, develop the products, and get word out.
Yeah, absolutely. Steve, you were on the InfoComm Leadership Search Committee. when you come to this show, how do you find people to seriously,
Sure.
how do you find people for the next generation of the leaders for this industry?
So starts by walking around with a badge.
Yeah.
But other than that,
That helps.
through just normal networking, attending events, being involved, social media helps. But getting to know everybody and letting them know that they can learn more about InfoComm if they get involved, and that's usually a good starting point. And I've been telling people for a while, how did you get it involved in this? They asked me, and I said, you just have to say yes first, and volunteer. And as you do that, you start to kind of build yourself some type of history, and you get more involved, and you get selected for more things because InfoComm's got a lot to do, and to learn, if you want to learn more about the organization, it's just a great way to contribute to the industry, get to know other people. You always get more out of it than you put in.
All right. Matt, you not only got to walk the show floor, but you did a lot of talking.
I did.
For me.
Always. It's much more articulate that way.
Oh my gosh, yes. But you say A.
No, I do not.
And you say process.
I do, because it has an O.
What, in talking to the folks at the booth and stuff like that, what did you get the sense that how they felt this show was compared to last year or maybe years past?
I believe that pretty much everyone that we encountered, everybody we talked to, was excited for this show. No one really was talking numbers or foot traffic or, booth density, but there were those booths that you walked in that were spacious, and it felt open. There was those booths you walked into that spilled out into the walkways and the entryways, and sometimes the crush of people in the walkway was larger than the booth space that exhibitor actually had.
Wow.
And the whole thing was jammed. And I think it's just from what I gathered from them was that they were excited to be here. They were excited for how many people were showing up and wanting to have meaningful conversations. And it wasn't just let's walk around, take a look at a couple things, not talk to anybody, and get out of the booth and on to the next one. But that people were they were either browsing and kind of giving them the eye as they walked past, or walking into the booth, finding someone to talk to, and really dig deep, get some information, and find out, again, either how the product worked, how it helps them, et cetera, et cetera. And that was really the big takeaway I had from that side of it.
Don, this is I think the third or fourth time that InfoComm has done the Women in InfoComm networking breakfast. Talk about not just the breakfast, but the efforts that InfoComm has made over the last couple of years to recruit women into this industry.
Well, the breakfast, as you said, it's been about, I think it's 3 or 4 years, and then they had a day-long women's seminar previous to that. The breakfast sells out every year. I know this year they capped it at like 200 just because of space, but every year they have to get a bigger room. Every year they sort of have to put a cap on it and say, sorry, we're sold out. But it's a phenomenal event, not just because you get to sit in a room with a couple hundred other AV women that are passionate about this technology and just as geeky as I am, but InfoComm really goes out of their way to find compelling speakers. And like the keynote address this year was a corporate trainer who specializes in developing executive presence, which a lot of women, even ones that are higher up in the food chain, so to speak, sometimes we run into that barrier of, well, she doesn't seem to have a lot of gravitas. She doesn't seem to have that presence that we look for, And so the perception of what the business world looks for out of women leaders or leaders in general is sometimes lacking in, what is the expectation versus what women present. Yeah. So they were able to find someone to really address that. And it was a phenomenal 2 hours together on yesterday morning. So I encourage all women and friendly men, come to the women's breakfast. It's a wonderful event InfoComm puts on each year. Each time they bring in great speakers, it's worth your time and your couple of bucks, frankly. Good. And they're doing a great effort with introducing WIN is the Women of InfoComm Network, and they're the ones that host the breakfast. Now they're starting to open WIN branches around the country. So Corey Schaefer and oh gosh, she's gonna kill me. I've forgotten her name. From Opta, the one I interviewed the other day.
The one I don't.
Oh, she don't have schedule. But anyway, they started a branch in Southern California. There's a branch that is opened of WIN in New York. They're working on opening one in the DC metro area where I'm probably going to get involved. And around the country and around the world, London has a very active Women of InfoComm network. So you don't have to wait till InfoComm to come to this breakfast to share ideas with other women in the industry. You can go to these lunches, these meetups, networking events, and education events around the world and really bolster that. I think InfoComm is doing a great job at that. And, you know, we're doing better than a lot of STEM fields at bringing women in. And I've said for years, of all the STEM fields, AV is the most welcoming to women because for the most part, all of the men are very willing to be mentors and willing to take us seriously as long as we take the technology seriously.
Mm-hmm.
So,
absolutely.
Good job.
All right, Matt, how do people connect with you?
Ooh, you can find me here on AVNation.tv. That's AVNation.tv. But also
He's making
on...
fun of my voice.
He is.
No, I'm not. This is where I'm at today.
Okay.
Mostly. Most easily, you can find me at Matt D. Scott on Twitter and every other social network.
All right, Mr. Greenblatt.
Steve Greenblatt on social media, even though I haven't been very active this week, just not enough time.
You've been busy, sir.
Yeah, and controlconcepts.net.
All right, and Dawn, last but not least.
You can find me everywhere on social media at AVDawn, which is Periscope, Twitter, 50 other social networks, you know, like you do. Or you can find me here on AVNation.tv. I'm hosting AV Social, and we've been trying to post a new one each month, so check us out. Visit some past episodes and see what we do in the future.
All right, very good. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back with another set of guests. All right, next up we have Wallace Johnson from Mertz Crew. How are you, sir?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good.
Also, host of The Live Life.
Also, I was getting there. Good Lord. It's been a long week. I get it.
Your pregnant pauses are too pregnant.
Okay. And that sultry voice you hear there is George Tucker. And the reason I wanted to bring George on back on is, Wallace, you're heavily involved in the staging live events space. That was George's, main thing for a number of years. Not a silly question, but why do you come to InfoComm, being that that's your world?
Coming to InfoComm, you still have to be aware of what's happening.
Yeah.
We love peer-to-peer networking and seeing each other's shows, so a lot of times it's a family reunion for us. But then you also see kind of some of the stuff that you're probably not ready to buy, but you know you're going to need to buy at some point.
Okay.
So it's a lot of research and analysis of what's the latest and greatest in technology, and you get to meet those manufacturers face to face for the products that you do own to say what you like and what you want them to develop in the future.
George, from your standpoint, one of the things that InfoComm has tried to do is the way they map out their plan. You have a lighting section, right? You have a sound and an audio section. Is there value there in maybe merging those, or not necessarily catering to one segment or another, because installed sound is important, and as well as live staging is. But is there maybe value in creating spaces where there is more of a live staging area?
I would love to see the Yamahas and the other desk manufacturers have a space there, whether that's an audio room similar to the audio demo rooms that they have,
Yep.
something of that nature, that not just that center stage where the IA crew is working and we have full setup, but there should be something more. I don't think you'll ever achieve NAB quality or NAB size, but what's there is interesting. What's there is always informative. But I would love to see that more, like, split them up, give it to them for that price or whatever that is. Here I am giving away InfoComm space, but you're welcome. But that what I would love to see, because Yamaha's going to be there. They should also be over there.
Yeah.
Some of those Shure microphone people should be over there. There should be some kind of element that gives me that, idea, like projection. We don't shoot shootouts, but man, that video masking, the image masking stuff needs to be shown more.
And is being used in the staging and events world.
Yep. Yes, and it was used last night at the Hard Rock, a very simple version of it for the rock and roll party thing they did last night. It had flames mapped up along the walls, and it was nicely done. But that is a big element. It's video. That's a natural cross-pollination. Why isn't it there?
Yeah. Wallace, what did you, either a product or something that you saw that just either you're taking away and bringing to the shop on Monday morning, or something that just wowed you?
Actually, it's kind of what I see out the window now. It's LED. Each year, I remember when it was just a little bit of LED. Now it's a lot more and more. And to see the growth of what manufacturers are doing with LED. The mil spec is now, last year, the hot thing was 2.9. This year it's 1.9. And you even saw small samples of 0.9 out there. And that's kind of why, I think live event people are coming to the show now and also seeing other shows is because LED is changing so fast. So to invest in it, it's kind of a risk maneuver of, do I buy it now or what's next? And a lot of the manufacturers are showing what's next. So the evolution of what's going on with LED was a lot to see, especially now with curved LED and lower mil spec, is allowing the design and creativity of the live event space to take shape now, to really start to match price-wise, with more of it being out there, the cost of whether you use projection or LED.
Yeah. George, from a staging and event standpoint, is there anything that you saw on the show floor that folks who live in this space might want to take a second look at?
I really was impressed by the Barco X series LED panels. Not just the LED that we see outside the window here, but these things had a very nifty, better quality video, but also a very nifty mounting system. That means it was front serviceable. You put it up once with a plumb line and this little technique that they teach you, and then you mount those things once, and if you need to take them off, it's pop in, pop out. Brilliant for when we're doing big live events, when you have, they're not using just 25 or 100 like they did there. Their shows where they're using 3,500 of them. They're using, on movable platforms and things like that. That is really helpful. It seems simple, but it's really essential. Yeah. And the other one, again, being practical, the Shure Axient system. Their ability to to avoid collisions and interference while still in what is technically TV frequency ranges is pretty darn cool. They're putting them in some other frequencies. They're going back to VHF with some of them.
Wow.
But they're building in the digital ability to avoid collisions, to error correct in many ways, and to do a spectrum analysis as well as frequency intermodulation testing. So you can go in there, figure out what's there, it reads what's in the air, just like you would say with a Wi-Fi spectrum analyzer, and it can pretty much identify, sometimes by manufacturer, who's there and what channels they're on and what they're doing.
Wow.
In addition, when I was talking to the salesman, it's not frequency hopping. So in normal situations, we're used to saying the police would use it to be undetected, frequency hop between different frequencies to be undetected at different rates. This is not that, even just in a sequence. This is carrier hopping. They take a carrier and slightly change the carrier, which actually offsets that issue. It's very nifty. I don't understand completely the mathematics of it. I want to dig into it, but it really is a very cool idea. And that whole package, I don't remember the MSRP, but it didn't seem extraordinary for what it was going for.
And Shure's done a good job, especially with the frequency changes regulations of doing trade-ins and buybacks of older products to keep.
And there's a lot of that at the show as well. When you talk to the wireless manufacturers, whether it's Shure or Sennheiser or any of the others, they have to do the buybacks.
Yep.
The whole spread, the whole white spaces spectrum leasing or spectrum sale thing has been really heart-wrenching.
Well, especially since they've done it more than once, right?
That's right.
Yeah. And they're threatening to do it yet again.
Oh yeah.
And I think they won't stop doing it till they one day say, "I'd like to do my press conference. Why do I have this thing around my neck?" Because there's no more RF left. And it really is.
All right, guys. Mr. Tucker, how do people find you again?
Tucker Twos. I also write for several trade journals and blog for AVNation.
All right, Wallace.
Yeah, you can find me at Wallace CTS and at merchcrew.com as well, and also writing blogs at merchcrew.com. So you can follow me there.
All right, very good. Thank you guys so much. That is all the time we have for this episode of AV Week. Ask you to check us out on our website, avnation.tv, avnation.tv. While you are there, please check out our underwriters. These are the folks that help us do what we do, including coming to you from InfoComm 2017. Also, check out a couple new programs that we've got. One is called Daily Download. It's a 5-minute segment of all the various productions that we do. So all that and more at avnation.tv, avnation.tv. Thanks so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. This has been AV Week.